Whatever I touch seems to be turned to ashes.
Oh.
But I know as a great power is protecting me. I had a great desire to go and work for the poor people or marginalized people or that kind of a, because there I was only dealing with paper and books and accounts and so on. Millions of people have seen billions of apple falling. Why was it waiting for Newton? Not even one day I felt that, oh, I should go back and see how they are doing. It's okay. I left it like that. It never crossed my mind. I'm telling you, Shraddha. In India, you can walk into any home, an unknown stranger, if he's hungry, it's lunchtime, he will be fed. So, charity, philanthropy was part of life. When you give for the joy of giving. They miss the very essence or secret of Karma Yoga. The moment they seek something in return, it's gone.
I want to begin by asking you what inspired you to become a monk and also with Ramakrishna Mission Order.
Yes. Actually, from my boyhood, I was not too much into spiritual activity and all that. I was extremely interested in sports. But apart from that, I had no other diversion. Sports, I was extremely interested, even now, not to that extent. At one point of time, more or less in a middle class family, what one can aspire. I had a very good job in that sense. It was never ever any aspiration to become a big corporate conglomerate or something like that. So in a middle class family, typical middle class family, the aspiration is to get a good job.
Yeah.
So I had a good job. So I was wondering what next. Ultimately, probably I could become, those days, general manager was considered very big, maybe some general manager. I thought there is no purpose in that. Has life a more deeper and defining purpose? So that's what set me thinking. Of course, I have been in touch with the Ramakrishna Math for some years by then. I heard about Swami Vivekananda. I had not read much that way. But his idea of service appealed to me. I thought that instead of spending time for myself, if I can do something for others, I thought that's a greater purpose. That is the reason I came. And amongst the service organizations, even then and much more even now, Ramakrishna Mission is rated very highly. So I thought just to explore the possibilities of service and making a better use of my life, I came to the monastery, not with the idea of realizing God or anything. In fact, in the initial years, I used to struggle because I was in a very good job and, not something extraordinary, but it was a good job and my colleagues used to like me very much. So they thought that if we get a change of assignment, department, something like that, they all were trying to kind of take me back. I said, why don't you come back? What's it? Because it was something bold from the blue for them, from a corporate, suddenly going into a monastery. So they said, why can't you do it from here itself? And those kind of arguments. It took me some time to really figure out all that. But I stuck to the decision. Although I didn't know how to really defeat them in their arguments, but I somehow stuck to the decision. And the monastery is really what taught me so much. It has really given me extraordinary insights about life, about people, about purpose. Everything I owe to this organization.
What I'm listening is that what drove you is selfless service and seva bhavna.
Yeah.
And and today we are here in this building, and we'll come to everything that this seva bhavna has impacted and is impacting so many people. How, for a layman and for people like us, how do you every day have this, cultivate and have this deeper sense of seva bhavna? Because we start thinking about ourselves. and our achievements and our success.
See, it's a struggle. It's a lifelong struggle. Not that we don't have conflicting ideas, opinions, views, thoughts. Yes, they do come. It's all part of the struggle.
Yeah.
Once you are aware of an ultimate goal, even at the level of the mind, at the level of thinking, even at the level of the buddhi or the intellect, then relentlessly pursuing it is what one can do. We know there will be difficulties, there will be problems. There are difficulties. In the monastery also you might meet a very ordinary person and you are stunned. But ultimately, if you are very sure of this is what I have to reach in my life, then you go on relentlessly struggling for it.
Yeah.
That itself gives you a kind of joy. Yes, I'm struggling for something which is very wonderful, very great, very noble, the ultimate truth. So that keeps you going. But it's a big challenge, big struggle. It's not easy because every moment in your life you come across contrary ideas, contrary views, people you have helped so much, they turn around and stab you and things like that. In Seva, it's extremely difficult. You have done so much for somebody, you have given hours and hours, days and nights, and you find the person behaving in extremely selfish manner and virtually kind of stabbing you. It's very difficult to stand all that. See, it's a very beautiful incident in Swami Vivekananda's life. He had to face these kind of situations innumerable times in his life. So many people this way, they behaved with him in this manner. So in America is a very, very beautiful place called Ridgely Manor. It's somewhere, you have to go from New York, it's about 1.5 hours, 2 hours drive. Beautiful place, a huge area, massive area that way. There, there's a beautiful set of cottages and so on. So he came from above and below, and those who were with him, they were virtually moved to tears the way he spoke. Is that whatever I touch seems to be turned to ashes.
Oh.
But I know as a great power is protecting me. So sometimes, the human side, however great one might be a monk, we can't even mention Vivekananda and anyone else in the same breath, but still, that's the beauty of Vivekananda. The sparks are the lightning like human aspects of his life that come out once in a way that adds extraordinary grandeur and beauty to his life. Otherwise, if it's all a story of extraordinary spiritual luminosity alone, probably nobody would be able to ever link up to that personality or have any connect with him. He is God, we are mortals, so what? Let it be.
Yeah.
But even in his life, the struggles, what all happened, how he had to manage all that, that gives ordinary people a great hope, a sense of belonging. Yes, we are also here, we are also in the journey, we can also attempt. That's the beauty of Swami Vivekananda, if you ask me.
Swamiji, I want to ask you about the value-based education that you are, and
Yes.
here we are in this beautiful, very pious building where this is also happening in Gurugram. Please tell us about that, and also Ramakrishna Mission's vision and mission around value-based education.
See, some years back, I wrote a small piece in the speaking tree. Once in a way, they used to ask me, used to write also. That was, around Swami Vivekananda's birthday or something like that. Heading is about Swami Vivekananda. I said, our country is like this because we have not really taken to Swami Vivekananda's ideas fully. And I said, we at the Ramakrishna Mission, we are the first culprits. We are responsible. We have not done enough. I said, I honestly believe that because we could have done much, much more. It's difficult, of course, the pace at which he worked, his expectations and all that, obviously many of us don't measure up to that. So, Swami Vivekananda spoke so much about education, so much he spoke about Mother India, so much about youth, all important dimensions of the society which are all necessary for really uplifting India and making it an extraordinary nation, all that he has spoken of at length.
Yeah.
So, slowly, during my journey in the monastery, as I was evolving in terms of ideas, contacts, I was for 30 years at our international headquarters at Belur Math. I was dealing with perhaps the most uninteresting subject: audit, taxation, accounts, exemptions, etc. I was completely in charge. I set up the department, did so many things, including setting up huge staff welfare schemes covering the entire organization. So at one point of time, I had a great desire to go and work for the poor people or marginalized people or that kind of a, because there I was only dealing with paper and books and accounts and so on. Although all that contributed to whatever the mission was doing, the great work the mission was doing in terms of relief and rehabilitation and many other works, all of which needed funds, all of which needed those funds to be managed carefully. So everything is part of that whole anyway. But quite often, you long for some direct experience. Then it so happened, 2 small charitable institutions I helped set up in that region, in the Howrah and nearby those regions. One on this side of the Howrah River, the Ganges River, the other on the other side. From scratch, from the original document, the deed for the formation of the organization, starting from that, setting up their process for accounts, other works, their activities, everything A to Z. So, and both those organizations, one is doing exceedingly well. They are doing some 600, 700 free eye operations for poor every year and so on. They are working largely for the welfare of marginalized women. So these 2 organizations, the work I did through them, I found that my thirst has been satisfied, my hunger has been appeased for that kind of a direct work. That no longer appealed to me. I felt that I am through that phase. So there was no idea when I would ever go away from headquarters. 3 decades is too long. By the time you're too old even to move out. So then, of course, in my mind there was an idea. If ever I get a chance, I would do something for this value education, because this is one area I thought that we need to address. And then doing some spiritual, really that kind of discourses, classes for small groups of people. These were the 2 things working in my mind. And when I came to Delhi, suddenly as the head of the center, see again it's a very extraordinary happening, because Delhi is supposed to be one of the very prime centers of the Ramakrishna Mission, and people come there as the head after 3 or 4 experiences elsewhere. But a person who had hardly ever lived in a branch coming and straight away taking charge of one of the most important centers, and that too with no one to hand over. My predecessor had actually died. It was a vacant chair. I simply came and sat. So I thought that there must be a greater divine purpose behind how I landed there. And slowly I started working on both. The idea of spreading the message of Sri Ramakrishna Holy Mother and Swamiji through classes and others, because even I had no experience. In 30 years, 25 years I had not given a single talk. And in the last 5 years, I used to give 2 talks in Bengali per month. Imagine coming to a place which is a complete Hindi dominated, and I had practically forgotten my English, staying in Bengal for 30 years, and suddenly I am here. Then this value education, it started developing. I called a big meeting, and there was someone from an organization who were doing similar work. He thumped the desk and said, "It's not so easy. You won't get volunteers. Today we have a team of 85.
Wow.
Out of which about 40 are completely dedicated volunteers, like former civil servants, someone who is a doctorate and double masters, they are PhD holders. They are giving totally dedicated service, absolutely free of any monetary consideration, and the rest are paid very normal, very
Yeah.
nominal salaries, you can say.
Yeah.
Nothing. So then slowly I was trying to find out what can be done. Really, we didn't know how to even approach the schools. Those days, it was very difficult. Everything, there was so much emphasis on secularism. Again, a totally misconstrued and misunderstood concept. So, no school would even allow us to enter.
Which year was this?
That was between 2007. I came to Delhi in 2007 as the head of Delhi Center. The next 4 years, you say 2011, almost up to that. So what to do? Then what happened? A very beautiful HR company called Illumine Knowledge Resources Private Limited. It's a Bombay-based company. The founder and CEO is a very brilliant person. He is IIT Delhi and IIM Ahmedabad, one of the toppers there. So, with his help, because he is very closely known to me, I said, can we do something? We developed a program called Success Formula. We thought that students are interested in success. No school can object to this. There is nothing religious, there is no God, nothing in that. So we got entry in schools. It's a beautiful 1 hour multimedia presentation. We ran this program in about 700 institutions or 700 times. See, what that speaks of is we have inherently 3 types of strengths: physical strength, mental strength, and spiritual strength. Buddhi balam, bahubalam, atma balam. Bahubalam, buddhi balam, atma balam. So, through various real life explorations, the children are made to find out which is important, whether it is a bahubalam or the atma balam. So, through that exploration, the children learn that we all have an inherent spiritual strength, and if that is accessed, that's where we achieve something very extraordinary. So, in this success formula, children are made to understand success is not something getting first mark somewhere, getting some prize somewhere. One should become success worthy, whereby whatever you do in life ends up as a success.
Wow.
It's a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
It's extremely popular, and so this gave us a foothold in the schools in Delhi, which we found otherwise very difficult to enter. Now we were slowly known because this was very popular in schools. Then, of course, through them we developed a bigger version called Success Formula 2, which required a lot more time, so we couldn't run it in many schools. In the meanwhile, Swami Vivekananda's 150th birth anniversary was approaching. He was born in 1863. 2013 was the completion of 150 years, but we started the work in 2011 itself. Again, a first time, because our headquarters, they were stunned. No, we do it after 2013. I said, no, by the time the entire country would have been flooded with these programs and we will have no space. We will be nowhere. If you want visibility, we must do now. And straight away, we brought up a beautiful called Awakening India. Awakening India is a collection of Swamiji's very powerful messages in 6 dimensions society, like youth, uplift to the masses, empowering women, and so on and so forth. So, under that, again we did a 5-module program called The Awakening. That we ourselves ran in 50 schools with our resource persons. This was a huge success. We did a survey, and 72% of the students said that after this program we felt that we have far more capabilities than we had imagined.
Wow.
So this gave us again a very good foothold. This led to the development of a flagship program called the Awakened Citizen Program.
The Awakened Citizen
Program. We thought ultimately what one does at the individual level should transform into something for the country, is it not?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the use? Everyone would aspire for a good position, power, money, comforts, and so on. But can it be inclusive? So, this Awakened Citizen Program is a 3-year graded program for classes 7, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 8. Each year it has 16 modules. It is based completely on Swami Vivekananda's educational ideas. Swamiji gave a path-breaking definition of education. He said education is the manifestation of perfection already in an individual. This is something
Wow.
totally different. No one
Wow.
has spoken about education in this manner. But Swamiji was very logical, very, very logical. He had proven this theory. How it was, he says, we all read Newton discovered the laws of gravitation. Say an apple fell from a tree and Newton discovered the laws of gravitation. Swamiji asked, were the laws of gravitation somewhere roaming in the skies for Newton to pull them down? The falling of an apple triggered certain ideas in the mind of Newton. The triggering of this led to the rearrangement of ideas already in the mind of Newton, and the resultant discovery was the law of gravitation. It is very true, because if the falling of an apple is directly responsible for the discovery of laws of gravitation, it should happen at least 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Millions of people have seen billions of apples falling. Why was it waiting for Newton? So it was only a trigger. In the same way, he says, the teacher, the school, the books, the facilities, they're all only triggers bringing out the inherent power, glory, purpose in a child.
Why is it that, all these, sorry I'm asking this question, but why is it that people who are seeking to make money in the name of education have proliferated? But of course, I don't know if you have tracked this space, but to some tough consequences right now. So, but
Yeah,
those grow so fast.
see, the point is, what I say is, even that is okay. Because in a country like India, see, they are not stealing from you. If you can afford, you go. They are giving. See, that way, see, we don't belong to any political party, or we don't have any affiliation.
Yeah.
But I appreciate Sheila Dikshit because she gave a free rein for people to open. People made money. See, private education institutions, they are making money. But they are also giving quality education. And those who can afford go there, why should you grudge it? See, there is such a vast field. There is space for everybody. You improve government schools greatly, then everyone would come to government schools.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
fact, today if you go and ask even the rickshaw pullers, cycle rickshaw walas and others also, they want their children to be educated in a good English medium schools.
Yes.
Then,
Yes.
so because they have understood the worth and value of it.
That's sad also.
So, yes, it's also an industry. See, in other countries also, if you go to United States, if you go to a real private school, you have to pay 10 times probably than the government school. But the government schools themselves provide such good facilities. The private players are minuscule in terms of numbers. But in India, it's a vast field. You have crores of children. There is space for everybody. It's very good. It's an industry that is thriving. So many teachers are being employed. So many other staff are being employed. Other infrastructure is happening. Good building, cars, everything. It's part of development only. Na? See, if someone makes a company and gives a dividend of 60%, 70%, 80%, you don't mind. So if someone builds an education institution and takes 30% profit, why should we grudge it? It's the ability. That's why, if they had asked me, I would have told the government, instead of trying to squeeze them and freeze the fees and things like that, introduce a system of perfect audit.
Yeah.
Let them charge. Let them pay the teachers well. Let the guardians pay. Only those who can afford are paying. Why should you interfere there? Rather, you appoint a team of chartered accountants, distribute them. Some will audit. So every year they must ensure that the money is not siphoned from schools to other private channels. That one you should ensure. If a school is charging good fees and using it for schools development, giving better facilities, better salaries, why should you object it?
Yeah.
So trying to squeeze other things, that will only create tremendous disturbance, disharmony and all that. You are playing the teachers against the guardians and so on. That game will fail. But if they had asked my opinion, I would have said that you leave all that. Let them run it. Let them run it well. But you make sure through a thorough audit that the money is not siphoned to other charities. In the name of school, they should not be taking a lot of money and roaming about all over the country using that money. All that you stop it. Education institution, let them plow back the money into the same institution for better infrastructure, better facilities. If you do that, automatically the fees will come down after some time.
In our country, what is the way to up your level?
Yeah.
Only education.
Yeah. See, there's so much need scope for education in our country, still with so much uneducated in terms of percentage, the absence of literacy and all that. We need to encourage everybody.
Yeah.
But put the controls at the right place. See that you be in that. Don't use that for your personal building of wealth and things like that.
Did you speak to the government about this program?
I think it's very difficult, Say, our union central minister, he knows about it because Smriti Irani came and inaugurated one of these programs. But their support, etc., are all at the very superficial level only. The Central Board of Education, CBSE, has been very supportive. They even issued a circular recommending this program. But what I say is, you know the difference. If the government fully pitches in, it's very different.
It has to. It should.
It needs huge, massive funds outlay and all that. See, 40 people are working totally free. Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas, etc. Wherever we do the program, the lunch and other things largely they provide. Still, you have to raise 2.5 to 3 crores per annum. That's a massive amount. See, we have about 100
but Swamiji, the transformation you are doing, this is no amount for the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you only said that the money which is being spent, otherwise...
They can easily do, but it will happen. See, one must have patience. Any good work, if you're honest, if your purpose is genuine, it will certainly succeed. Only one should have the patience to wait for it, not lose hope, not abandon it midstream. You'll have problems, difficulties, failures, but you must carry on.
We'll be such a different country.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely it will make a big difference.
Because I
may
can
not
be
live
born to
to
a
see
king.
that, but it will definitely happen one day.
No, but the work that you have done is that you could be born in a rich family or a poor family, any family.
Yeah.
But if you are going through this program, then you have a heart of like an equal. Oh my God, yes. My fear would be I want secularity. That's what people without, like I'm just talking as an outsider who doesn't understand deeply or knows this. Because I think this is the most secular thing. But anyways, what would you say? What is this value-based education?
See, our program is run in Muslim schools, Christian schools. Some of the schools in Hyderabad, the Muslim schools are doing beautifully, better than Hindu schools.
Wow.
Because nowhere in this program there's a single word related to religion or God. But the secret is all higher ideas have a spiritual origin.
Yeah.
We don't put it, that's all. What is spirituality? It's transcendence. See, at this level, if you keep on transacting, you can't go beyond, do much. But if it comes from a transcendental level, it's really life-changing. So we don't call anything like that. We name it as you like. But essentially, this is what we are trying to say. What is Swamiji's idea of infinite perfection? It's same as saying that you are the Atman, you are the Brahman, you are the ultimate. It's only using a different language. Because in one place he gave two important definitions in life, I can say, amongst his works. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest his divinity. This is one definition about human personality. Education, the same thing gives in a different language. Education is the manifestation of perfection already in an individual. One place is called divinity, other place is called as perfection. Both mean the same.
Yeah.
So Swamiji was always absolutely secular and absolutely spiritual, both. So here, whoever wants a non-religious background, you can be a Hindu, Muslim. Yesterday also there were Christian nuns sitting in the principal's conference. I went and asked, let me ask my own fellow traveler what she has to say about this. So they were completely one with what was being discussed. Because this only gives a different grounding, different basic idea or a foundation to education. It's nothing beyond that.
They're
So it
for
doesn't,
human beings, human
yeah,
kids.
yeah, it
You,
doesn't
if you're a
disturb
human
anything.
being,
Yes,
then it equips
yeah,
you
it
to
keeps
live
you.
as a human being in the
Exactly,
most
exactly,
ultimate
exactly,
way. Yeah.
exactly.
I'm just saying, as a simple human being, this is the ultimate form of seva bhavna I am seeing.
Yes.
Listening to this, being part and sitting with you, I can see, feel it. How do you do it so passionately, and how do you still remain detached? Because that is also one of the.
Yeah. See, uh, because now somehow this idea has entered so deeply within me, I honestly feel that this would succeed. That what drives me. Every day. Yesterday also, see, first they had a whole morning. See, we had fixed this date long ago. Then at the last minute, there was this important circular from CBSE saying that that very day, they were all called for some other program. So we really don't know. We have made booked the plane tickets, myself and another person, and it's very difficult again to organize. But they were so nice. They said that morning we'll do the CBSE. After lunch we'll do your program.
Wow.
2 hours. So when I went, I took the flight, morning flight, and
Where did you go?
Ranchi.
Oh,
I saw they had attended 3 full hours of workshop. They would have a huge lunch. I thought it's all gone. Either they are going to sleep or they are going to go off. So I myself, although the program was, the duties were allotted sessions to everybody, most of it I myself did. So everybody was awake. How can I sleep in front of me because I put so much and voice was 10 times bigger than this. So naturally they were. So if you honestly believe in something, that would give you that impetus. Definitely. That's what drives, because I'm a very small, ordinary individual, but if you see the lives of great people, they are possessed by some idea and that led them to their goal. They never lost track of it. Whether it's science, arts, industry, spirituality, anywhere. So I find, at least in some way where I find that, life makes a meaning. Say I could have uh, uh, probably, only one idea. Supposing I could immerse myself in meditation for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours at a stretch, that kind of state, mental state, if I had achieved, probably that would have given me a different kind of satisfaction. Given the circumstances, all the other factors, I thought this is a very wonderful way of engaging oneself, and I honestly believe that it's possible because Swamiji's words can't fail. Because he has clearly said, India will rise
yeah.
and her future glory would far surpass her past glory. I genuinely believe that. You are seeing already the signs of India's growth. There may be here, there, some minor problems. Ignore, they're all nothing. But at the underlying idea of all that is India's awakening, growth. You must be traveling abroad. Today, Indian passport is looked at differently.
Yeah.
Compared to some years back.
Yes.
I've also been to several countries in the world. So that is what really keeps me going. Of course, I also know the difficulties. Of course, I also suffer blows. I also suffered disappointment sometimes. Not that they're all not there. But because there is an underlying deep-rooted conviction, I bounce back, you can say. Sometimes even if people don't do it the way I like it, some resource persons may not do it that way. I find that we have given so much, still they are responding. All those human disappointments might come once in a
Are
way.
you able to detach also from the purpose?
Detach in the sense that giving it up completely and going, I have not come to that stage so far. If it comes to that, then there will be a test. But in the past I have tested, not here, elsewhere. See, for example, 30 years I was in the headquarters. I completely built the audit department, the systems, everything. Previously it was totally in a different, it was not professional at all. Because in a monastery, you don't always get people for the right kind of job, no? Anyone, you have to jump into the fire and do it yourself. So I built, bit by bit, I built up the whole thing. When I was transferred, not even one day I felt that, I should go back and see how they are doing. It's okay. I left it like that. It never crossed my mind. I'm telling you, Shraddha. It's a very honest confession. Similarly, I was 16 years, I was head of our Ramakrishna Mission, Delhi, our main center. Huge changes. But now, see, I have to really remind myself I was there. once.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's God's grace. Not that I really worked for this kind of retire. I don't deserve it. I have not done anything to deserve it. But I can tell you, this I hardly remember I was ever there, let alone being the head. 16 years as head as one of the most important centers. So much you'll be flooded with memories. Oh, it is happening like this, that's happening like this person doing it, they have gone and changed it, this, that. I rarely remember I was connected with Delhi.
To all the people who are in doing karma, or you know, be it business, entrepreneurship, people like me who are also running our own thing, big people I meet across the country, and every middle class person who's fending, trying to make a life, living a purpose. हाउ डू यू एवरी डे आप जाएं, पूरे दिल से काम करें और अपने आप को आपकी
Yeah.
तरह हटा भी दें, वो कैसे प्रैक्टिस कैसे
Yeah,
करें?
that is why, that's why Swamiji's idea of Karma Yoga is very extraordinary. It's not totally new. But Swamiji has given it a new dimension, a twist, so to say. See, in the olden days, maybe 100 years ago or 200 years ago in India, you can walk into any home, an unknown stranger, if he's hungry, it's lunchtime, he would be fed. So, charity, philanthropy was part of life. Today is totally different. Today there's a definite need for philanthropy. There's a definite need for charity. So Swamiji gave a spiritual twist to it. It's not just doling out. It's improving you spiritually, awakening you to your true dimension. So probably, everybody, wherever they are. See, even in programs we say, children, you don't have to become monks or mendicants. And do well, do fantastically well, go to great jobs, earn enough, but be inclusive. See, today in your profession or in any profession, industrialists, teachers, doctors, everybody, if they can adopt this, yes, I will do well for myself, but I will only look a little beyond so that I become inclusive. Then they will have enough enthusiasm, drive, energy, everything. And, they will be able to absorb disappointments, failures much better. They will be happily able to share, give for us. All that will happen. What you need is, to understand Swamiji's idea of Karma Yoga. It's a huge span. From a person giving a cup of tea or something to someone sacrificing one's own life. You see, there was a Swamiji, is a lectures on Karma Yoga. He gives a beautiful example. He says, after the Mahabharata war, Yudhishthira did a huge Rajasuya Yajna. That's considered the greatest of yajnas in those days. And you have to give everything as gifts. So much so, they said, nobody has seen such an yajna where so much charity was done and all that. He writes, as Simon Mongoose appeared there, half of his body was in gold, half was his normal color. He rolled on the floor where the yajna was done. He said, "Pooh, it's nothing." They would say, what are you saying? Yes. See, once I went to a village, there was severe drought for several years. People are literally dying. One family of 4 people, husband, wife and 2 children. They somehow, they got some quantity of flour. They have cooked it and they divided it into 4 parts so that no one eats into the other share. And they're about to eat when someone came knocking. I'm ravenously hungry. I'm dying. I will die this very moment. Give something. Then the father gave his share. He said, you are going to kill me. You have only increased my hunger. Then the mother gave. The children gave. All the 4 shares he ate and drank water, blessed them and left. And that night, all the 4 died of starvation. Next morning, I went there. There was a particle of that flour on the floor of the place. I rolled over and half a body of mine became gold. I am searching all over the world for any sacrifice equivalent to that.
Oh.
Whereas my other body would also become, other part would also become.
Oh my God, it brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah. Swamiji says, absolute total self-abnegation. That's the acme of the highest idea of self-sacrifice, unselfish work. But anything done, setting apart a small portion, always being inclusive, thinking of others. Every industrialist, you can make enough money. Supposing you become a caring industrialist, a caring principal, a caring teacher, caring father, caring mother, caring TV, everywhere is what is needed. Swamiji has given an universal mantra for everyone. Do that, your life gets a new meaning, new vision, new idea, enthusiasm.
A lot of people do good and they get disappointed very quickly.
Yeah.
Because they feel, oh, I'm a giver, others are takers around me. I have also gone through that journey. Today, hopefully, I'm little more peaceful. What would you tell people like that?
See, they miss the very essence or secret of Karma Yoga. The moment they seek something in return,
Yeah.
it's gone. It's gone. That's totally gone. See, people go make big show of charities. Big names should be there. It should be engraved in gold and silver and all.
Yeah.
All that will not. When you give, you give.
And forget.
It seems, there's a great philanthropist in West Bengal called Vidyasagar. It seems somebody was giving a throatful, mouthful. He was abusing him in the worst possible language. It seems he said, I don't remember to have helped you at any time. So you see, when you give for the joy of giving. Associate any good idea. They're also children of God like me. They're also one with me. They're also have any elevating idea behind it. Give it. Of course, disappointments will come. You may, I won't say that if you are absolutely unaffected, you are a truly evolved Mahatma soul. But quickly to make that adjustment, bounce back, that you can have. All right, leave it, doesn't matter. Because, you see, from every failure, there will be a beautiful success story also in your life. That's enough. You draw inspiration from that. Carry on.
Yeah.
See, ultimately, that's what the Gita's concept of yajna. We're all drawing everything from Prakriti, from nature. Even the biggest, I always tell children, your big schools, elite schools, do you think that because your father and mother has paid money, you're here? Every farmer who has committed suicide has contributed to the school. That's why you are here. So if when you think of that, you'll never feel that I've done something great, I've given or this or that.
Yeah.
I'm here because millions have died so that I am here. Then you are humbled. So you seek more joy in giving and helping others and so on.
Wow. Swamiji, I want to ask you, what is your routine? Because 30 years you did this,
Yes.
now this. It looks like a very hectic life.
Yeah, very, very hectic.
You
very,
look very glowing
very-
and you look genuinely, there's a sparkle.
But work,
Tell us.
I somehow, I don't know, even people are amazed by the levels of energy or work I can put. Others find it very difficult to cope up with. That's my
I can make
problem
out.
probably. They all say that. But you see, somehow when I think of all the, for example, very recently we built a beautiful retreat center in Rishikesh. It's in between Rishikesh and Uttarkasi at a height of about 5,000 feet.
Wow.
We used to leave at 4:30 a.m. in the morning and come back at night 12:30.
From there?
From here, it's about 400
come
kilometers.
back
Come
in
back
the same day.
night. Yes. So, one thing is, probably, I have not analyzed it. If you are genuine at heart, when you try to do something further, you find unending source of energy. That might be. Because, physically I am not supposed to be. I am adaptic. But I don't stop at all. Generally, the other side also, you can't neglect what we are supposed to do as monks. You get up very early,
What time?
4:30, 4, even sometimes 3:30. And night is never before 10:30 or 11.
You sleep.
Of course, in between the afternoon, I take about 40 minutes
Nap.
to 45 minutes rest.
And meditate for how many hours?
It varies. Sometimes I meditate for a number of hours also. Generally, 1.5 hours to karenge, but I am not satisfied. I want it minimum 4 to 5 hours. I
Every
should be
day?
able to do. I'm trying to figure out, because with too much travel, it becomes difficult. Physically, there is no time, no. But if I can, maybe in the next few months I'll be able to organize myself a little better. One should give to oneself 4 or 5 hours a day, Shraddha.
To
Minimum.
meditate.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much for what you are doing and for you and for this conversation.
Thank you, Shraddha. Namaskar.